All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome into the live stream of the College Football Playoff Top 25 Ranking Show, Reveal and Reactions. We have the rankings coming out close to 15 minutes, but we're kind of early. I wanted to jump on here a little bit quickly just to kind of, give you my thoughts, and who's going to be um, pretty much the top five, I guess. Let's just put it that way. And then who's going to be my top 25 as well. But um, who's ready? Who is ready for the top 25 ranking show? Um, I know a lot of people can't watch it. Obviously, the streaming has been down for a lot of college sports. I know everybody is kind of really not happy about it, and I would definitely agree. Thank you guys so much for joining in. Whether you're, a college football fan or not, thank you guys for joining in. So put your comments in the chat. Let me know who you think is going to be number one tonight. Um, my five guess, top five guess would have to be, the top five teams that I think have a really good shot to be number one. I talked about this in my top 25 video on Monday. I did say that Indiana, Ohio State, Texas A&M, also Alabama, and Georgia. I think those are the five teams that have a really good shot to be number one tonight. But I would say the best guess would have to be Ohio State, Indiana, or Alabama is my best guess. Those three teams, one of them is going to be number one, and we'll see who it is tonight. But yeah, we're still a little ways away from, the rankings show, so we still got plenty of time. Let me know in the comments who you think is going to be number one tonight. It's a late Tuesday night. It feels like it's been late Tuesday ever since like 5 o'clock because, the time change and everything on Sunday. So I was not looking forward to that where I'm from. And I have live streamed in the past. I don't know if I'll do it like full time when the rankings, are coming out every Tuesday night. Maybe I'll do a live show of the rankings being revealed. But problem is though, the streaming, I can't really stream as much as I used to. I used to broadcast some games, but hopefully I can get back into that in just a moment. And I am live streaming on StreamYard, so I decided to do it on this, website and just see how it goes. But again, leave your comments in the chat. Who you think is going to be number one tonight? Again, I really don't want to give away my prediction, but again, it's between Ohio State and Indiana, and then probably Alabama because Alabama has a strong resume. They have wins over Missouri, Vanderbilt. They also have a win over Tennessee, which maybe is not looking as good now because Tennessee is like a three-loss team. So probably not, a strong resume now for Alabama, after beating Tennessee. And then they have a win over Georgia. So those are three good wins for Alabama. I think if, I think with one loss, though, to Florida State is what's going to keep them at, probably number three. That's probably just my best guess. The loss to Florida State does hurt them. Florida State's a four-loss team. So we'll see how that plays out. I guess Indiana will be number one, but I don't think they'd be the SEC number four team. Atlanta Gym fan, thank you for your comment. I don't really, I have no problem if Indiana would be number one tonight, but at the same time, it's really tough between Ohio State and Indiana because if you look at the difference between Ohio State and Indiana, Ohio State really I don't think they've played anybody ever since the Texas win. I mean, the Washington win is really good for them, and they also have a win over Illinois. But is it really a good win, or is it a bad win? Is the question. And then for Indiana, they've been blowing out their opponents against Power Four teams. I think Indiana's been more dominant in their games than Ohio State has, because if you look at Ohio State against Penn State, they did not look good in the first half. I guess it was just an interim coach, though, and they probably just didn't really expect Penn State to compete in the first half of that game. But yeah, Atlanta Gym fan, I don't think I have no problem with your guess. I think Indiana could be number one. That really could be pretty exciting. Not just for the Indiana football program, but it did kind of, it does kind of show you the statement that Indiana probably will be made. Especially after dominating their opponents. So again, leave your comments down below who you think is going to be number one tonight. Again, I think it's between Alabama, and then also Ohio State and Indiana. Those are three of those teams that probably could be number one tonight. I don't think Alabama will be number one, though. I just have a little bit of doubt of Alabama. But Indiana or Ohio State, I would take all day. Let's see what's going on college sports for ESPN on the app. So even though the playoff rankings are going out tonight, we do have some college football games. We got UMass at Akron, Miami of Ohio at Ohio. That is probably a rivalry game there. Then we got tomorrow night, Kent State at Ball State, Northern Illinois at Toledo. Thursday night, we have Georgia Southern at App State. And then South Florida plays on Thursday night. So South Florida is another team that, I'm talking about group of fives now. Let's move on to the next questions for you viewers. Which group of five teams do you see tonight? Do you see two group of five teams or just one group of five team tonight that will be ranked? Let me know down in the comments. Which group of five team will get in? My best guess would probably be Memphis. Memphis probably gonna be that top group of five team. James Madison, could James Madison sneak up there? That'll be interesting to see a James Madison team in the rankings. All right, so it's 7:51, so we're 9 minutes away. Reese Davis, Booker, McFarland, Joey Galloway, and Greg McElroy are in the studio. Thank you guys so much for joining. I know the stream, YouTube TV things that have been going on. I hope they get that fixed pretty soon. I hope they get that fixed. I don't know how long it's going to be, but we'll see what happens. Again, another question for you guys: which group of five teams do you see being in the rankings tonight? Let me know. Again, my best guess is probably Memphis. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw two group of five teams in there. Atlanta Gym fan says group of five, Memphis should be included. I do agree. I think they definitely kind of deserve it. Win over South Florida. They have a win over Arkansas. That's not a great win, but it's against a Power 4 team. Memphis has got Tulane coming up this weekend. I think they play that on a Friday, if I'm not mistaken. So that could be a pretty big upset alert kind of game there if Tulane were to upset Memphis. Because we saw Tulane take an absolute beating from UTSA last week. And those weeknight games are very unpredictable, guys. What if Tulane was looking ahead to Memphis? What if they were looking ahead to this game, and now they'll bring their A game against a possible top 25 Memphis team in the playoff? That'll definitely be an exciting game, just like when the South Florida and Memphis game played out. Yeah, and another question I asked you guys: who will be number one tonight? Let me know in the comments in the chat, and then also which group of five teams do you think it ranked? Do you think we'll have any teams that'll be high as well, like too high or too low? But when the rankings are completed, I will give my thoughts and my reaction to them. So, but I'm gonna watch the rankings here in just a moment. We're still about 7 minutes away. Appreciate you guys jumping on. If you are a college football fan, be sure to subscribe to this channel. I give you all kinds of the content. Upset alert video will be coming out tomorrow. We got my game picks and predictions for week number 11 coming out on Thursday. Then we take a break on Friday and also Saturday. And Sunday will be my takeaways video. And I've done live stream in the past, guys. I just don't really show my face very often, but I did my March Madness bracket reveal reaction, and it really did pretty well. So hopefully I'll get back in the live stream if this plays out pretty well. And I am streaming on StreamYard, so it's not my first time using it. I just kind of used it here for the stream, though. I'm really getting impatient. Just I'm really excited for these rankings to come out. Some college basketball games going on tonight as well. My favorite college team is Kentucky, so I'm a Kentucky fan. If you haven't heard me on my channel, I like the Kentucky Wildcats. Basketball team is up 28-15 at the half against Nichols University. I don't do college basketball that much, but if I want to get into it, I really could. I just can't do it very often. All right, we're 4 minutes away from the rankings. 7:56 here in the Eastern Time Zone, 6 p.m. in the 6:56 in the Central Time Zone. I'm checking out my ESPN app on my phone because I'm looking at the Kentucky Wildcats' game. Again, appreciate you guys jumping on. Let me know again, last call, who is your number one team? Let me know your top five at least. And then let me know which group of five teams will make it in tonight. I would say my top five would have to be Indiana number one, Ohio State number two, Alabama my number three, but I really don't know. Texas A&M has a win over Notre Dame, so I would say probably Texas A&M, but it's hard to really choose. Texas A&M won. Thanks for streaming this. I'm a YouTube TV subscriber. You're welcome, man. I know. I'm a YouTube TV subscriber too. I'm watching this on Hulu. Um, you can watch ESPN on Hulu like for free. Just sign into an account, and that's what it will take you. So you can watch ESPN, but you can't watch like the Fox games and like the CBS games. You probably just have to search those on YouTube, probably. And then you can watch ESPN2 on Hulu, and then also ABC on Hulu as well, like ESPN ABC. That's how I did watch the SEC games. I judged women's gymnastics for 40 years, and I enjoyed traveling to Lexington every winter. I tell you what, man, we're going to have some really cold weather coming up here in Kentucky next week. But looks like it's time. Or actually, when it comes back. So, all right, the countdown is on. So we're about almost 1 minute away until the rankings are revealed. Last call again. Who is your number one team and also your top five? And which group of five team do you think makes it in? And then also click the like and subscribe button if you are a college football fan. And be sure to check out my videos as well. Again, I bring all kinds of college football content. We do off-season videos. We also do, you know, postseason videos, which will be pretty much right around the corner. This college football season has flown by, folks. 20 seconds. 10 seconds now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Here we go, folks. It is time for the first ever college football playoff top 25 rankings. The second year officially in the 12-team playoff. Thank you guys so much for jumping on. Really appreciate you guys. I wonder if we'll see any 3-loss teams tonight in the rankings. I really don't know. Thank you for doing this, man. Yeah, you're welcome. Appreciate you jumping on. Yeah, I'll tell you what, I think it's really hard to, rank teams at the beginning of this. The national championship game is looks like in Miami, Florida this year at Hard Rock Stadium. National champion prediction for me was Texas in the off season. I might regret that probably, but all right, here we go, folks. They haven't showed them yet, but I'm just saying, here we go. We'll see if the committee is a little bit accurate this year. I feel like they did a pretty good job last season, but I can't remember. Be sure to like and subscribe, guys. Be sure to like and subscribe as these rankings are about to be revealed. Rowing high tide. My mom is kind of a big Alabama fan, but she just liked when Nick Saban was around, and I don't blame her. I have no disrespect, though, for Kalen DeBoer. And I like the OH comment as well. Ohio. Again, I think it's pretty tough between Indiana and Ohio State for that number one spot. But either way, this is going to be pretty big. I'm patiently waiting, but man, I want to see them pretty badly. All right, so the 12 team college football playoff format, highest ranked conference champions, they automatically get in, but it's not about the top four conference champions anymore. It is now a straight seeding. Four highest ranked teams will get that first round bye. 8 teams will play a first round game on campuses. Boy, the campus games last year, they were definitely not even close. I mean, they could have been a lot better. We didn't have any single close games in the first round games last year. Hopefully, we have that this season. I'm not saying it was a bad playoff, though. All right, here we go. They are starting with 25. Tennessee, man. 3 loss Tennessee team in. So I was wondering if there was going to be 3 lost teams in here tonight. Pittsburgh, whoa. I'm not too surprised there, though. Pitt's in. Pittsburgh 7-2 on the year. Tennessee 6-3. So it looks like Tennessee might be the only 3 loss team unless SMU gets in. But Tennessee has 3 really good losses. Oh, there's Washington. I kind of knew Washington would be ranked. Couple losses to Michigan and Ohio State. Missouri at number 22, also a 6-2 team. Lost to Alabama and Vanderbilt. Missouri also. Missouri doesn't really have, I think, a quality win. And then there's Michigan at 21. Michigan 7-2. Michigan has a couple of losses to USC and Oklahoma. Those are their 2 best losses. I'm kind of surprised Tennessee is in there. They don't have like a big win, but They have like 3 losses to like Georgia, Alabama, and Oklahoma. All right, so number 20 is Iowa. Remember, Iowa has a loss to Indiana. So not too surprised, but their other loss came to a 4-loss Iowa State team. Maybe they're a little bit too high. All right, number 19 is USC, another 6-2 team. USC has a couple of losses, one to Illinois. I think Illinois is like a 3 or 4 loss team, if I can't remember. USC has a loss to Notre Dame. There's Miami at number 18. Miami, a 6-2 team, a loss to SMU, of course, this past weekend. A win over Notre Dame, though, and also a win over a 6-2 South Florida team. All right, number 17 is Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech, 8-1. Their best win is against Duke, but they lose, of course, to NC State, who's a 4-loss team. And they also have another win over Wake Forest, but that's just a 4-loss team. Vanderbilt at number 16, 7-2, losing Alabama and Texas. Louisville, it jumps into the top 15. I think Louisville definitely deserves a top 15 spot. One loss coming to Virginia. And then the big win, of course, over Miami, who is 6-2. And then Virginia comes in at number 14. So they put Virginia ahead of Louisville because of that head-to-head. So good call by the committee there. And I also, I remember Iowa played Indiana pretty close. I haven't watched a lot of Iowa games this year because I haven't really paid attention to them. But yeah, they definitely deserve it. Utah at number 13, a couple of losses to really good teams. BYU and also Texas Tech. That's who they lost to. They have a win over Cincinnati now and a win over Arizona State, who is a 6-3 team. By the way, I don't think Cincinnati is going to be ranked here. That's kind of surprising, to be honest, but maybe not surprising because they got blown out by Utah and they don't have like any other quality wins, like maybe against 4-loss teams, probably. Oklahoma comes in at number 12, 7-2 record, 2 losses, of course, coming to Ole Miss, and who else did they lose to? Texas. That's who they lost to. It's kind of been a while since we've seen these matchups. And then there's Texas at number 11. Lost to Ohio State, of course. The bad loss to Florida, even though Florida is a very talented team, in my opinion. And then the wins, of course, coming against Oklahoma and Vanderbilt. So I have no problem with Texas being there at 11. So 11 through 15 is Texas, Oklahoma, Utah, Virginia, and Louisville. Texas 11, Oklahoma 12, Utah 13, Virginia 14, and Louisville 15. All right, let's move on to the top 10. Notre Dame at number 10. So even though they lose to Miami, they are in the top 10. Do you think that's a little bit too high, guys, for Notre Dame? Let me know. 6-2 record, a win over a 3-loss Boise State team, and a win over a or two losses actually. They have a win over USC though, which is another good win. And then two losses coming to Miami and Texas A&M. I would say Notre Dame did not look good against Boston College, but the committee doesn't look like they are going to penalize teams for playing really poorly, if that makes sense. But they kind of did penalize Cincinnati a little bit. But Cincinnati, I kind of agree they don't really have any quality wins. They have a loss to Nebraska too, who is a three-loss team. All right, let's go to number 9. It's the Oregon Ducks. I would say that's pretty reasonable. I mean, Oregon doesn't have their best win is probably against Northwestern. And also, I think the one loss to Indiana is probably, what's keeping them in the top 10, if that makes sense. We're in the top 10 now, guys, just to let you know. By the way, I didn't see Memphis. So they're not even putting in group of 5 teams, which is interesting. I didn't even realize that. I think Memphis definitely should have been ranked. At least down at the bottom in the top 25. Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, Pittsburgh definitely probably should have been ranked because I think they have a loss to Louisville. Texas Tech at number 8, 8-1 record, one loss, of course, coming to a 3-loss Arizona State team, and then a win over Utah. BYU at number 7. The resume isn't great for BYU, but they have a win over Utah, which, is good. I think Texas Tech probably should have been ahead of BYU because Texas Tech beat, Utah pretty easier than BYU did. And then Ole Miss comes in at number 6. So there's the Rebels. That's a good spot there, I think, for Ole Miss. 8-1. Of course, lost to Georgia. They got a win over Oklahoma. A 3-loss LSU team, which, is not a great win. But this is a pretty good football team. So, yeah, 6 through 10 is Ole Miss at number 6, BYU at 7, Texas Tech at 8, Oregon at number 9, Notre Dame at number 10. And then we go to the top 5. Georgia at number 5. I kind of agree with that there. 7-1 record. Alabama number 4. So Alabama beat Georgia head-to-head, and then Alabama has a win over a 3-loss team in Tennessee. Texas A&M at number 3. The win over Notre Dame, of course. That's really big for them. They're like 6-2 on the season. Georgia has a win over Ole Miss. One loss, of course, to Alabama. And then Alabama has 3 ranked wins now if you put Tennessee in there. And then the win over Missouri, win over Vanderbilt. And then, of course, the win over Georgia. And then there's Indiana at number 2. So Indiana gets the number 2 spot. So it will be the Buckeyes of Ohio State, your number 1 team in the first playoff rankings. I tell you, it was really close between those two teams. I think just because of the performance, I think Indiana could have been number 1. But at the same time, Ohio State has a win over Texas, and they also have a win over Washington. So I definitely kind of agree with the committee there for just at least, putting the Buckeyes there at number 1. All right, so that is the first playoff ranking. But now we're going to get into the field, the bracket. We'll see what it looks like. So the top 4 teams are Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M, and Alabama. So remember, a team is not going to get penalized for playing in a conference championship. So we're going to go to the 5th seed, it looks like. And it doesn't matter which ranking you're in, it's really going to be about the straight seeding. And then also, I don't know, this is like the first time for a straight seeding. And then, all right, so the fifth seed is Georgia. And then Ole Miss is at 6. BYU, the Big 12 champ, they're kind of predicting them to win the Big 12 championship in the conference leader. Texas Tech is the number 8 seed. We got Memphis at 12, so they're not even ranked, but they're in the playoff field as the highest ranked group of 5 team. And then Virginia at number 11, the ACC champ. Notre Dame at number 10 as an at-large team. So the matchups would be Memphis at Georgia, then Oregon at Texas Tech, Notre Dame at BYU. That would be a pretty interesting matchup between two former, independent teams together. And then we would have Texas Tech versus Oregon in the first round. So that is what the 12 team projection looks like as of right now. So, what do you guys think? What do you guys think before I go off here? So, in my opinion, I think maybe they got the right call. Ohio State definitely number 1, Indiana definitely number 2, Texas A&M number 3, Alabama number 4. Again, the playoff field, the 12-team playoff field projection. Ohio State's the number 1 seed. Indiana is the number 2 seed. Texas A&M is the number 3 seed. Alabama is number 4. So those top 4 teams will all get a bye in the first round. Then Georgia at number 5 seed. They will get to play the 11th seed, or not the 11th seed, the 12th seed. They just went away, so I can't really see it anymore. But either way, that's the rankings, guys. What do you guys think? Did they get it right or did they get it wrong? I probably will post it in the community and then let you guys comment a little bit. But yeah, that's the first playoff rankings, guys. Things are going to get pretty exciting down the stretch of the season. But back to the playoff 12-team playoff field projection. Ole Miss is number 6, BYU number 7, Texas Tech at 8, Oregon at number 9, Notre Dame at 10, Virginia at 11, and Memphis at 12. So even though Memphis did not get ranked, they are still in the playoff field because you have to at least have one group of 5 team in there. But Memphis is not even ranked. So that kind of does surprise me that Memphis is not ranked. But yeah, Pittsburgh is ranked. Maybe that's kind of a surprise, but Tennessee's still ranked, but their 3 losses come to like really, really good teams. Like Georgia, they only lost to them by 3. They lost by 17 to Alabama, and they lost to Oklahoma by 6. So it seems like the committee is not penalizing teams for losing by like double digits, except, Cincinnati was not even ranked, which, it kind of doesn't surprise me at all because Cincinnati was really blown out in that game this past Saturday night at Utah. All right, so let's take a look at closer to look to the rankings here on the ESPN site. I don't think they really updated the ESPN app yet. Looks like they haven't. Give me a second, guys. But yeah, what do you guys think? Did the committee make the right call? What disagreements do you have? All right, so Ohio State's number one, Indiana number two, Texas A&M at three, Alabama at four, Georgia at five. So that is the top five for you. I have no I have no disagreements with the top five. I think the committee definitely got it right. Um, Indiana definitely deserves number two. Ohio State again with the win over Texas. That's just that's what really puts them at number one is the win over Texas, and then also the win over Washington, which is definitely a lot better than it used to be. Texas A&M has the win over Notre Dame, and then Alabama they have like four ranked wins if you count Tennessee now in this playoff top 25. Yeah, Tennessee was only the three-loss team to be ranked, and Alabama has wins over Missouri. They have a win over Georgia. They also have a win over, like I said, Tennessee, and then also a win over Vanderbilt. Georgia has wins over Ole Miss, and then also they have a win over Tennessee, which is a three-loss team. They have a loss to Georgia, so not a bad resume, and I think the top five is pretty accurate. All right, 6 through 10. We got Ole Miss at number 6, BYU at 7, Texas Tech at 8, Oregon at number 9, and then Notre Dame at 10. 11 through 15, Texas at number 11, Oklahoma at 12, Utah at 13, Virginia at 14, and then Louisville at 15. 16 through 20, Vanderbilt at number 16, Georgia Tech at 17, Miami at 18, USC at number 19, Iowa at number 20. 21 through 25, Michigan at 21, Missouri at 22, Washington at 23, and then Pittsburgh at 24, and then Tennessee rounds it out at 25. So, again, what do you guys think about these rankings? Let me know down in the comments below. You can also leave your comments after this stream ends. But do you think the committee got it right or got it wrong? Let me know. To be honest, I don't think Tennessee probably should have been ranked, but they have three good losses, and it's hard to really keep them out of the rankings if that makes sense. And then the teams that I feel like got left out were SMU, but SMU has like I think a couple of non-conference losses. I think they lost to Baylor and TCU both, if I can't remember. And then they also had that win over Miami, which is their best win. And then the third loss, one of those three losses comes to Wake Forest. So that's probably what kept them out of the rankings is that fourth loss to Wake Forest. Pittsburgh has, I think, a loss to Louisville, but they have a bad loss to West Virginia. So that's probably what kept Pittsburgh low in the rankings. And then Iowa, they have a loss to Indiana, and they're really the only team that's been really close with Indiana this season. Because if you go back to that game, Indiana only beat Iowa by 5, and I think that's the reason why Iowa's in the rankings. But should they be a little bit lower? That's really the question there. But anyways, I really don't have much else to talk about. Um, I guess it'll do it for this stream for tonight. Um, I probably will do the next rankings next Tuesday night. Depends on what time it is. But appreciate you guys jumping on, leaving your comments of who you think would be number one. Again, we don't have any group of 5 teams, which maybe is interesting, but Memphis is in the playoff field at least. That's a good sign. They're the highest ranked Group of 5 team, it looks like. And again, Ohio State's number 1, Indiana's number 2. Those are your top 2 teams. And then the top 4 teams, Texas A&M and Alabama, along with those 2 other teams I just mentioned, they all get first round byes as of right now. But it's still early, guys. It's week 11. We got like 3 more weeks to go until Selection Sunday. All right, maybe like 4 weeks because we do have conference championship weekend. So hopefully I'll do a live show on that Selection Sunday as well. But again, leave your thoughts in the comments. Did the committee get it right or did the committee get it wrong? Let me know down in the comments below as I do end this stream out. Thank you for joining me. It is the NCAA College Sports YouTube channel. Good night, everybody.